afternoon. I'm Shawnee Au, and this is One News Now. PNP Chief Sinas insists that the death of flight attendant Christine Dacera is a rape slay case. But for NCRPO Chief Vicente Danao, the cases filed against 3 persons of interest are premature. Pat Mangune has the story.
3 persons of interest have been charged with rape and homicide following the death of flight attendant Christine Dacera. But for NCRPO Chief Vicente Danao, this move was premature. The 23-year-old was found unconscious in a hotel bathtub in Makati last January 1. She was pronounced dead on arrival due to ruptured aortic aneurysm.
Hindi po napag-aralan ng maayos yung filing of the case. No? Unang-una, hindi pa po na-establish diyan kung sino talaga ang culprit. Ano? Sabihin na lang po natin na may pumatay. Ang tanong is, sino? Hindi pa po na-establish yun.
The official is encouraging an independent autopsy as requested by the Dacera family.
Para once and for all, wala pong whitewash, wala pong ano. Mas maganda nga po kung gano'n para magkaroon po ng linaw lalo yung kaso on the cause of death.
PNP Chief Sinas, who has been under fire for claiming that the case is now solved, insists that Christine's case is possibly a rape-slay case. Sinas claims they have evidence they cannot disclose yet to the public.
Based on the elements ng rape, present po lahat yung factors na yan. We believe kasi may mga bruises no? Ganon. So it leads to that. Now, if whether kung ano po yun, we will let the court decide later on based on the merits na nakita namin sa crime scene.
The Integrated Bar of the Philippines says the ball is now with the Makati City Prosecutor's Office whether the filed cases will prosper.
We cannot say kung premature o hindi because it depends on the evidence that they have. It's the prosecutor who will evaluate the evidence submitted by the police.
The Dacera family is confident that justice will be served for Christine.
Soon, nanak, what happened to you will be justified. Tama na si Christine ang nabiktima. Ayaw kong madagdagan pa ng isang Christine Angelica Faba Dacera na gano'n naman ang gagawin. Ayoko pong mangyari yan sa anak nyo, sa apo nyo. Tama na si Christine na naging sacrificial lamb.
As for the copy of an autopsy report circulating online which states that Dacera died of aneurysm, the PNP says it cannot authenticate the document. However, Sinas says aneurysm was indeed one of the initial findings of the PNP Crime Laboratory.
Ayaw namin pangunahan yung prosecutor kasi kami rin naman ang mamalasin sa kanila. We hindi evaluate the case. I'm not a medical legal, diba? So, alam mo, these are tools for investigations. No, I will not have it presented na hindi pa nga yan na finalize, okay?
For News 5, Patricia Mangune, we are One News.
A leaked copy of a police autopsy conducted on Dacera's body is making rounds online. Let's get more details from Camille Samonte, who joins us live from Mandaluyong City. Hi, Camille. What do experts have to say about the report, which is apparently not authenticated by the PNP?
Sean, a forensic pathologist is questioning the sufficiency of a medical legal report from the PNP Crime Laboratory. According to this expert, it is not enough to determine the real cause of Christine Dacera's death. Dr. Raquel Fortun says the medical legal report lacks many important details on the case. For instance, the report states that the cause of Dacera's death was ruptured aortic aneurysm. But Fortun explains that the medical condition is not typical among young people like Dacera. She adds that if it was indeed aneurysm, her body should have suffered from hemorrhages. Aneurysm in general refers to the weak spot in the wall of a blood vessel inside the brain. The expert says more examinations are needed on the victim's body, especially on the aorta or main artery. Moreover, Fortun observes that the report did not state explicitly if there was a sexual contact. Another thing she notes is that it is not medically sound to connect aneurysm to intoxication. With this, a toxicology test must also be done to identify what was in the blood system of the victim. Let's hear more from the forensic pathologist.
Ang dapat kasi dito professional yung approach. And I've kept on emphasizing totality yan Lahat lahat yan. Ang daming tanong. Anong nakita nila sa scene? Anong itsura niya? Anong suot niya? Kasama din yun. Tapos, yung examinasyon ng katawan, yun na nga, dapat yan detalyado. Detalyado yan. Hindi lang 2 pahina.
Sean, Dr. Fortune also underscores the importance of gathering and considering all physical evidence and witness accounts before making any conclusions. The Dacera family is also not satisfied with the initial findings. That's why they sought another autopsy, which is expected to be released in the coming days. Sean?
Thank you for that update, Camille Samonte, joining us live from Mandaluyong City. And the Investigation Bureau under the Justice Department has stepped in on the case of Christine Dacera's death. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says he will discuss the case with NBI officials today. Guevara noted that the NBI's forensic team has been providing assistance to the National Police. Guevara also explained that whole departure orders may be sought once sufficient evidence is presented. But for now, they await the formal filing of a complaint by the PNP to be the basis of the travel alert. We have more stories after this quick break. Stay with us. Hi, Sir Manny. Are you there? Sean?
Yes.
You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Health Department says the more infectious UK variant has not reached the Philippines based on initial analysis of local experts. Let's get the details from Greg Gregorio, who reports to us live from Mandaluyong City. Hello, Greg. What is the latest on this?
The Health Department reports that a more infectious COVID-19 variant first detected in the United Kingdom has not been found in the country. This amid reports that one B117 variant case in Hong Kong had a travel history in the Philippines. The Health Department says that they are still getting more details on this, noting that Hong Kong authorities have been unresponsive since the news came out. Thus, it is still unknown if the positive individual was a Filipino or not. But the Hong Kong Health Department's Communicable Disease Branch has reported that the passenger was a 30-year-old female and Hong Kong resident who arrived last December 22 via Philippine Airlines flight number PR300. In a statement, PAL has clarified that the passenger had a negative RT-PCR result prior from boarding. But this experts say we cannot say for sure that the detected UK variant really came from the Philippines. Data from Hong Kong government also showed that the passengers started experiencing symptoms on December 28, or almost a week after arriving in Hong Kong. Despite this, the DOH is not complacent and has acquired the flight manifest involving the passenger from the Bureau of Quarantine. Let's listen to Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere.
We were able to zero in on two individuals with a profile of 30 years old female. So may dalawa tayo and we were able to get the contact address, the contact numbers and all. Unfortunately, both contact numbers cannot be, hindi na po sila sumasagot. We also are doing contact tracing na rin dito sa additional 38.
Sean, as for the latest on vaccines, AstraZeneca just applied for Emergency Use Authorization or EUA in the country. FDA Director General Eric Dominguez says the processing and evaluation will take 3 to 4 weeks depending on the completeness of their submission. Sean?
Thank you for that update, Greg Gregorio, joining us live from Mandaluyong City this afternoon. And tributes poured in for MMDA Chairman Danny Lim, who died earlier today. Malacanang confirmed the official's death over a week after he contracted COVID-19. He was 65. Let's get to know Danny and his legacies more with One News's defense editor, Manny Mogato. Hi, Manny. What do you know personally about the late MMDA chief? We understand, of course, that he was a general before.
Good afternoon, Sean. He was a very respected military officer who fought valiantly against the enemies of the state, the NPAs and the Muslim rebels in the south when he was still in the service. He was also a very principled person, and he sought to end corruption, not only in government but also in the military. And he was a member of the Philippine Military Academy class 1978, but he graduated from West Point in the U.S. When he was accepted as a cadet in 1974. So he has a very sterling career, but he gambled his own career by joining coup d'etat against Presidents Marcos, Cory Aquino, and Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. In 1986, he won because Marcos was ousted from power. But during the Aquino regime, he failed to unseat the president as they were defeated by forces loyal to the government during the 1989 coup. And so he was in jail for several years until President Ramos granted him pardon, amnesty in 1996. And he resumed his military career and becoming eventually a general heading the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment. It's an elite unit fighting the rebels. But in 2006, he joined his classmate, former Colonel Ariel Carabin, in calling for the resignation of President Arroyo. They were again arrested, and he was in prison. And a year later, he joined Senator Trillanes in marching from Makati Regional Trial Court to Manila Peninsula Hotel, again calling for a people power. Again, they were defeated, and so he was again sent to jail. But in 2010, he was granted bail and was released and joined the government of President Aquino in 2011 as Deputy Commissioner for Customs.
Right, Sir Manny. So we understand, of course, his long history of rebellion, several imprisonments, of course, the very famous Manila Peninsula siege, which we all remember him for. But the question now becomes, how did he perform, of course, under the Duterte administration? He did serve, like you said, he did serve the Pinoy administration, but he also went on to serve the next administration, the current one. What would you say are his legacies from the Pinoy time going over to the Duterte or the current administration?
General Lim was a silent worker. He's very quiet guy who performed his job well. Well, during the Aquino period, he resigned from the Customs Bureau after 2 years because of corruption in the agency. Under the leadership of General Lim in the MMDA, there were a lot of reforms he had done, especially during the pandemic. He was able to create a very good transportation system route in the Metro Manila, providing better transportation and lessening the traffic situation. I think he has done well as a leader of MMDA, and he was only very silent.
Of you and your colleagues will remember General Lim very fondly. Thank you so much, Manny Mogato, One News's defense analyst, for your input. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.